You know how when you're in a store, the cashier will often ask if you'd like to be emailed your receipt? This is a pretty shameless attempt to secure a really valuable piece of information, your email address. It's the anchor for much of your online identity and lets brands tally the data they might have about you with stuff they might be able to source elsewhere. But crucially, it also lets them forge a direct relationship with you, the customer. Rather than having to pay for advertising on a social media platform, on a television screen or a billboard, it can instead send an email straight to your inbox every week. That lets it promote its latest offerings, give you discounts, all without having to pay for additional ads. The same goes for news organizations. Rather than having to fight for an audience on Twitter or Facebook every time a story is published, it can instead send a newsletter with the summary of the day's news that might be particularly pertinent to you. The average American received emails from 4 news organizations a week in 2020, and about the same proportion of people received their news from email as they do from mobile notifications. That's why we've seen an explosion in newsletters and email marketing over the past few years. They let brands evade the tech gatekeepers and forge direct relationships with their audience. But a lot of the value resides in knowing quite how many people are opening those emails. You might have 100,000 subscribers, but if you can show that 40% of those are opening the message every week, it makes it easier to attract a sponsor for your newsletter. The same stands for email marketing. If you know how many people are opening the message, you can gauge how effective the campaign might be. So how do they know you've actually opened the message? Well, most of these emails arrive just as blocks of text with no pictures. In order to get the pictures, it will ping a server, download them into the email. And in pinging the server, it tells the brand that you have opened the email, as well as perhaps giving useful information such as your rough location and what sort of device you're opening the message on. The unassuming newsletter is a bit of a Trojan horse. Now, as part of a broader crackdown on advertising technology, Apple introduced a tool in 2021 it calls Mail Privacy Protection. That system downloads all the images for your emails, irrespective of whether you open them or not. Makes it a lot harder for the sender of the email to know who has indeed opened their messages. And that's a big deal because about half of all emails are opened through an Apple app. It's prompted big changes to both the newsletter and email marketing industries. Rather than being largely subsidized by advertising, newsletters are increasingly paid subscriber affairs. The New York Times has taken many of its top newsletters behind a paywall, meaning that it only goes to people paying for a subscription. And email marketers are working harder to get you to click through their content to an outside website. If you've clicked on it, that means you've opened the message. It's made Apple into a gatekeeper of your inbox, long the preserve of Google. Its Gmail service has for a long time filtered your emails into primary, social, and promotional inboxes. Those last two are sort of a purgatory between the heaven of your normal inbox and the hell of your spam folder, and don't get as many eyeballs. In the data wars, even your inbox is a fierce battleground.